Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank the football gods. The transfer window is shut and we can stop pretending that we're trying to sign top players. Yes, Spurs have ended the window with two loans, one with an obligation to buy, obviously with Danso, one with an option to buy, which is Matthias Tell, and one that was a straight signing in terms of Kinski. We then sneakily, behind all the scenes, signed a academy player from Liverpool, an academy player from Man City, and an academy player from Chelsea. Don't think I don't see you, Tottenham Hotspur. I see what you're doing. And as usual, as a fan base last night, we were unable to keep any sort of calm and wits about us. I saw videos being made with titles such as this. Are you ready? These are the sort of titles. Matthias Tell, perfect fit for Angeball. They come out like clockwork. These people come out with these videos like clockwork. They did this with Odeberg, with Gray, with Bergvall, with Yang, with Solanke. They did it with Dragosine. They did it with Werner. They do it with every player. Why? He is perfect for Angeball. Where is another one I saw yesterday, which was hilarious? Comments. Hang on, here we go. Let's have a look. Comments such as this is bloody hilarious, honestly. Let me see if I can find this. Someone saying, this is the best ego. This is an elite signing. This is an elite signing. Wow. We've not had a signing this big since we re-signed Gareth Bale. What? How do we go? How do we go from 0 to 100 so quickly? Another account. Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, Tottenham Hotspur may indeed be back. What have I missed? What did I miss? Like, I did a whole day yesterday of streaming about Tottenham and signings and the transfer window. Yet, when I went to bed and I start looking through my WhatsApp groups and I'm looking and I'm thinking, what have we done? Like, what have we done that I've missed? Listen, Matthias Tell looks like a very exciting young prospect. Yes, Ash, we certainly did have a good laugh about it because it's like clockwork. It is like clockwork. We sat there and said, right, who's going to write what? Hang on, is someone at my front door? Oh, it looks like he's just dropping a package. Please don't want me to answer the door. Good. He's just dropping a package. Excellent. It is like clockwork, people. I mean, I saw a video that said this. Why this rare profile is ideal for Ange. What are we doing? Why can't we ever sign a player and go, let's see how this turns out? As I said, with Matthias Tell, people are going, oh, I was negative about it. I wasn't. I just said he's a 19-year-old kid, hasn't played a lot of football in his career. Let's wait and see. Nah, he's genius. He's the next this. He is. It's just madness. And the funny thing is, right? And do you know why I bring this up, guys and girls? Tell you why I bring this up. 1 second. Oh, by the way, I woke up today. No hot water in my house. Cold shower, not fun. Cold shower, not fun. Onto my plumber. Wait, I need you here. You didn't need to know that, but it was horrible. You know when you go to get in the shower and you're like, yes, and you're like, hang on, what's going on here? Hang on, I'm going to get this done really quickly. Oh, awful. So we've got tweets saying this is generational. So someone here, the next one, wow, what a signing. Generational talent, our new number 11. And you know, I just think to myself, have we not learned? Have we not learned yet? Because all these same people that made YouTube videos like this, that tweeted like this in the summer, last January, the summer before, they've been very, very, very wrong. Now, it's not about, oh, I was right, you were wrong. But surely at what point do they think to themselves, let me take a little step back. Let me be an adult about this. And let me have a look in and say, all right, cool. Cool. Let's see what happens. Listen, Tell could be the greatest signing since sliced bread. I say this about every signing. Or it could just be another average footballer. We don't know yet. This is a guy that Bayern Munich were willing to let talk to everyone, right? So let's just let him come in, settle, see how good he does before calling him the greatest signing since Bale, right? Generational. And this unique profile. What are we doing, people? And I know I always get this on my channel. I'm called negative. No, what it is, the difference is I'm a grown up about these things, and I'll come on and tell you the truth. Is it a good signing? He looks a very exciting player. He looks a very exciting player, but it's a player that hasn't had a lot of football this year. It's a player that hasn't scored a single goal this year, had a good, decent year last year, hasn't been picked as much this year by Vincent Kompany, and needs to rediscover some sort of form. Is it bad? No, it's not a bad signing. But why does every one of our signings need to be generational or world class, or this is the best thing we've seen? The same fans would be calling it shit if Villa had signed him, Newcastle had signed him. When he rejected us the other day, the number of people I'm seeing saying, don't worry, we didn't want him anyway. He's nothing special. And I just think we need to calm down. Calm down. I know people want to lose their minds, but can we calm down? All I'll say is this: welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. Tell. We'll get to Danso in a minute. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. Tell. Good luck. Let's hope you hit the ground running, and let's see what happens in the summer. Let's see what happens between now and the end of May, beginning of June. Let's see if he hits the ground running. Let's see what he does. Goals, assists, performances. Let's see what he does. And then we can turn around in the summer and go, yeah, we want to buy him. No, we don't. You've got a lot of people talking about, well, hang on, Matthias Tell wants to be a winger. Other people saying, well, no, he only wants to play through the middle. So we're going to see all of these different dynamics. We're going to see, does our setup work for Matthias Tell? So all these people that do these videos about he's the perfect fit. We saw this about Solanke. Now the excuse I get for Solanke is, well, Solanke isn't the perfect fit because we don't play to his strengths. But those very same people in the summer were saying this is the perfect fit because we'll play to his strength. So I feel like we just need to just relax, take it in. If he becomes great, brilliant. If he becomes great, I'll be one of the first sitting there going, what a player. What a player. If he doesn't become great, we'll turn around and go, well, cool. Okay, well, he was 19. We brought him in on loan for a reason. You know, we've got him on loan with an option. Again, I'm seeing people not understanding the difference, you know, in chats between option and obligation, which is worrying when people don't actually know the difference. And I feel like what we've got to do is just relax, because, you know, a lot of people that say these crazy outlandish things, saying crazy outlandish things in the summer, then when Spurs are sitting in the bottom half of the table, it's, yeah, but Ange wasn't backed. Whoa, hang on. So now we're going to get into the realms of this, and I'm sure all of you, but I will get to some of your comments shortly, you know I will, you'll all understand and hear this one. It's, if Matthias Tell works out, it will be, that's an Ange player. Ange wanted him. He wanted him. If it doesn't work out, it will be, that's a Levy signing. Ange didn't want him. That's on Lang and Levy. So right now, I'm going to ask the question, is that an Ange signing or not? Just so I know for whether it works or doesn't work. Because we have got this history of rewriting history, haven't we? We've got this history of not learning. We've got this history of rewriting. I've got people WhatsApping me like mad last night going, there you go, Sav. Option to buy. Great deal. You know, Ange phoned him, and I'm like, sorry, have we just signed Kraftskelia? Do you know what I mean? Have we just signed Gyökeres? Like, I feel like we just go just all a little bit crazy. So what? Manager of a football club speaks to a player. Shock horror. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's relax. So welcome to football. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. Matthias Tell, welcome. Young lad. Let's see what he's got. Let's see. Does he go straight into the team for Thursday night? Does he go straight in and play through the middle? Does he go onto the left? Let's see what happens. Yeah. And let's take it from there. Right. People should just relax. So Matthias Tell, what do we know about him? We know that he's quick. We know that he likes to run up players, which is good. Something we haven't got. We know that he's raw. We know that he's young. We know that he had a decent year last year, struggled this year to get back into the team. We know that he was frustrated with Vincent Kompany for not giving him more games through the middle. So that's one to watch to see what happens at Tottenham. Are we going to give him games through the middle? Are we going to chuck him out wide and then wonder why a wide player who isn't really a wide player is getting annoyed? Look, all of these different things we will see. What happens when Solanke comes back fit? What happens then? Does Solanke play up top with Son out wide and Tell the other side, or does Tell go left and Son gets dropped? But all of these different questions we're going to see answered in the next 4 months, aren't we? We're going to see throughout February, March, April, and May. We're going to see. I hope he is a roaring success. I say this with every player that joins Spurs. I hope that he is a rip-roaring success, but time will tell. We move on to Kevin. For me, it's a solid 6.5, 7 signing at the moment. Again, I can't sit there and talk like we've just signed established footballers that have done things in their career. So I'll give it a solid 6.5, 7 on that one. And let's hope that in the summer, let's hope that me and the rest of you are sitting here going, yeah, Levy, you've got to buy him. Because don't forget, this is an option to buy, not an obligation. So this is an option. So the player at the end of the day will be the one that turns around. But if Spurs turn around and go, we want to sign you, the player will be the one at the end of the day that turns around and says, nah, or yeah. And it's that simple. It's that simple, right? We Matthias Tell will make the decision whether he wants to come and move here permanently or not. So I think it's a good move for Spurs in the short term, in certain aspects, and a bad move in other aspects. For Matthias Tell, it's win-win, right? For Matthias Tell, it's going somewhere, getting first-team football where he's guaranteed to play, and he can see, does he like the manager? Does he like the squad? Does he like the stadium? Does he like the Premier League? Does he like the atmosphere? And it gives him a chance. So for me, I think it's not a bad loan move. Yeah, it's not a bad loan move at all. I just, you know me, I don't get, you know what it is? I think I don't look like an idiot as much as other people do because I just don't get carried away like a 4-year-old child. And I think that's the key thing. You know, I'm an adult supporting a football team. I'm not a 12-year-old or whatever. So, look, we'll see. We'll see. Look, we've got fans that are happy with this window. For me, I don't think we did anywhere near enough. I'm not even going to count Kinski. We've got goalkeepers. I don't think bringing in one centre-half and a forward is enough. I genuinely don't. There were players moving left, right, and centre in this transfer window, and I think we needed to do a hell of a lot more. We needed to do a hell of a lot more in this window. For me, I think we still needed another defender, maybe another fullback, and another forward player, another wide player. Hey, that's just me. We'll see. My understanding is that he is eligible for Liverpool. People asking in the chat. My understanding is that he is. He is available, as is Danso. Danso is available as well. I believe it will be all based on paperwork, but realistically, those sorts of paperwork don't take 4 days, so it should be fine. The bigger question is, does Ange throw them straight in for Liverpool? That's going to be the biggest question. Lots of people yesterday were debating, does Danso go straight in? And we'll talk about Danso in a minute. Does Danso go straight in? It's a huge game. It's Liverpool away under the lights at Anfield. It's the toughest place to go, in my opinion. Whenever I've been to Anfield with Tottenham, it's not been a good result. It's not been pretty. Most clubs can say that. Anfield's a tough place to go. So let's see. Let's see if he goes straight in. What we do know is there's lots of talk at the moment about Mickey van der Ven. Some people are saying he's out for the season, which I've not seen substantiated anywhere. What we do know is I think that it's a bit clearer that he probably won't start Thursday. However, We don't know, right? However, we don't know. He might not start. Hang on a second. Let's get a bit more light in here. He might not be fit for Thursday. A lot of talk that it was purely monitoring him. Now there's a lot of talk that he is injured again, and that they are worried about. Hang on, I've got a thing coming across my screen. There we go. And that he is injured again and might need an operation. I don't know. I've read so much in the last 24 hours. But what we do know is that Mickey van der Ven is injury prone. And what we do know, and it doesn't matter. Now take off your Spurs hat. Take off your emotional hat as a Spurs fan. Spurs need centre-halves for next season. We cannot go into next season with Romero and Van der Ven as your first choice centre-half. You can't. We can't. I don't know if anyone disagrees with me, but this centre-back pairing are always unfit. And that leads me, we'll go into that in more detail in a moment. That leads me to Kevin Danso as a signing. Now, all the noises you're hearing is that Kevin Danso was actually available to Spurs in the first week of the window at 35 million euros, which was 30 million pounds. My understanding from what we're hearing from everyone is that Ange did want him, so did Lang, but Levy said no at 30 million pounds. However, it kind of went away. He was then in talks with the likes of Juventus and Wolves. Wolves agreed terms. Wolves agreed a fee of 20.9 million, the same as us, 20.9 million pounds, which is 26 million euros. Had a medical booked, and then Spurs came in and swooped and stole the deal. Now, if you're happy with that, and I've got no problem with it, please then don't get upset when that happens to Spurs. This is the way of the world. So at the end of the day, we waited for him to be 10 million cheaper than he was at the beginning of the window. Fine, risky strategy, but we did get our man. I think he's a good centre-half. I don't go overboard. I think he's a good centre-half. I think he's reliable. I think he's solid. I want to see how he's played in these tactics. I want to see how he's played in this style of football, because we've already seen everyone wants to massively overhype Van der Ven and Romero 1 minute. The next minute, well, they're not as good apparently because of Ange's tactics. Cool. The next minute, they're brilliant and worth 100 million each. So for me, I don't think he gets the best out of them. We'll see. What does that mean for Kevin Danso? So now the big question to all you lot is, does Kevin Danso go straight in at Anfield? For me, yes. For me, I'd be I know people don't like this word, but for me, I think it would be massively Spursy for Spurs to sign a centre-half whilst we've got centre-halves out injured, and then get to a cup semi-final and go, nah, sit on the bench. Now, people might argue, well, you've got Gray and Davis, who had I thought they both had really good games against Brentford. But something tells me this is going to be very different to Brentford. This is Anfield. This is not the G-Tech Community Stadium. This is Anfield. This is a cup semi-final. This is not a league game away from home. This is a cup semi-final to arguably the best team in Europe. The best team in Europe right now, away from home. For me, if Danso is the player you want, for me, I get him straight into that back four alongside Ben Davis. Nothing against Archie Gray, but for me, Danso's a senior international centre-half. Right? For me, Danso right-sided centre-back, Davis left-sided centre-back, Porro, Spence. Don't invert the fullbacks. Ange, do not invert the fullbacks at Anfield. Do not. I can't say this anymore. And we'll come back to this on Thursday night. Do not invert the fullbacks at Anfield, Ange. We will be ripped apart. Do what we did at the G-Tech Community. Have your fullbacks sat in, as we saw with Spence. And Porro will never sit in as much as the others, but did more against Brentford. So for me, that is what I would do. That is what I would do. Okay? Only my opinion. I agree, Ash. I think for me, he's got to start. I don't believe that you buy an international centre back. And let's be brutally honest, this isn't somebody who's got zero experience. This is an international centre half who's played in Europe. He's played in Champions League football. You've got to get him. You've got to get him in, surely. For me, I think there's enough there now that we shouldn't be seeing Archie Gray at centre half. That's only my opinion. And again, I'm not knocking him. Now, at some point, I want to see Archie Gray in centre mid. But let me caveat that. Hang on. Let me caveat that. I want to see him at centre half. I do not centre mid. I do not want to see him at centre mid at Liverpool. I think that would be a massive game to throw in this kid. Now, I was having a look at Leeds games the second half of last season, and Archie Gray didn't really play centre mid. He played most of his games there at right back. And the reason I bring that up is it's been nearly a year since the boys properly played centre mid in a competitive football game. And even in pre-season, we've seen most of him is in defence. All season this year, we've seen him at right back, left back, and centre half. I think it's a big ask to suddenly chuck him into centre mid against Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. I think it's a huge ask. So for me, he wouldn't be in that midfield for this game. What I want to see is it would be nice to see him in some league games playing in central midfield. The questions I guess you're asking is, does Ange see him as a central midfielder? Was he bought for that? Is it purely because of the injuries that we're not seeing him there? Because, again, the revisionism says yes. But the brilliant thing about evidence and about history is we can go back and look and say, before Spurs had all the injuries in defence, Archie Gray wasn't getting a single minute in midfield for Tottenham. So, again, that's going to be really, really interesting to see at what point do we see Archie Gray, step into a midfield role. When Romero is back, when Van de Ven is back, who knows? You've got Danso, Davis, Romero, Van de Ven. We shouldn't be seeing Archie Gray at centre half. I want to see what he does in central midfield. By the way, these are just my thoughts. People, these are just my thoughts. And I try, as always, I know a lot of people don't like me, but I try and use my thoughts by evidence, by facts. I don't go by emotion. I know a lot of football fans just go, I'm Spurs. That's great. But for me, that's not football conversation. Yeah, those are the conversations I was having in the playground. I don't do that, right? I try to look at all football from a logical standpoint. I get it. There's emotions. They run through in the game. I get it. Thursday night, we're all going to be really nervous and we want Spurs to go through, for example. But logically, I know this is going to be such a tough game. And if Spurs do get through it, then maximum respect. We would have beaten Man City, Man United. I'm missing one, aren't I? No, I'm not. No, it would have, Man City, Man United, and then Liverpool over 2 legs. Look, it's going to be interesting because, as I said, Thursday night it's not going to be the same as what we've seen the last few games. This is a top team. Liverpool are going to come at us 100 miles per hour. You can bet your bottom dollar there will be no slow start from Liverpool. There will be no like they played in the first leg. They will come out, they will dominate, they will have the ball, and they will be going at us. And if anyone hasn't been to Anfield, then that's why they don't believe that. If you've been to Anfield, you know what it's like. It's a cauldron. The build up to the game, you'll never walk alone. They will start that game like a house on fire, and we need to be switched on. No mistakes, no high line, switched on. And, we're not going to be able to do what we did against Brentford. We're not going to be able to say to them, have 40 crosses into our box. We're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to be able to say, have 20 shots. Now, yes, there weren't many on target, but Liverpool's players are that caliber. Brentford's are there, right? It's that caliber. So this is going to be a really interesting game to see what we do. It's going to be a really, really interesting game. And this is where managers this is where they earn their corn. This is where they earn their bread. This is where they earn their salary, for anyone who doesn't understand what I'm talking about. You know, at the end of the day, this manager has known about this game now for, God, when did we play them? 4 weeks ago? He's known about this. He's known about this. He's known that we're 1-0 up. He knows what Liverpool are going to do. He knows Anfield. In the background, we would have been working on this. We would have been formulating a plan, him, the coaches. So it's a very, very interesting game coming up against Liverpool. Look, do I think we'll beat them? Well, we don't need to. We need a draw. I don't see that we go to Anfield and win. I don't. Do I see that we go to Anfield and get a draw? I think we're going to have to put in the best performance we've ever seen under Angepostecoglou to get there. And I'm not saying we can't. It's a big, for me, it will be a shock if we get through. We were talking about this last night. The ability to protect a 1-0 lead is a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing, right? Because do we try and go and get a second? Do we try and go get the second and almost give them a mountain to climb? Do we go and say, you know what, we're going to protect this 1-0 at all costs, which is a real risky game, isn't it? Sitting back. It's a tough one. I don't envy Ange in this game. I don't. But we had to go there with something to hang on to, and we have. So, look, we'll see. Can this be a memorable night for Tottenham? Why not? Will it be? We're going to find out in 3 days. What is it, Tuesday? Yeah, we're going to find out, 2 more sleeps, so I'm guessing is what the kids say. 2 more sleeps until we find out. And look, like all of you, I fingers crossed, we need to, we need to get to a final. We need to win some silverware. Don't let my dislike of Ange as a manager detract from me wanting to win trophies as a Spurs fan. The two things can coexist alongside each other. Pilcher said, this game is Ange's Amsterdam. I like that. That's a good saying. Phil Coys, big up Phil, said Liverpool will know we won't sit back. If we don't sit back, I'm not saying we have to sit back 10 behind the ball. If we don't and we go kamikaze, they will open us up at Anfield. They will pick us apart. We cannot do what we normally do. We need to find a kind of hybrid between what we did against Brentford and what we normally do. This is where we're going to see. Archer, big up to you, has said, do not concede an early goal to Liverpool. Otherwise, it could be a long night. Absolutely. It could be a very long night. However, it could be a long night for them. Go there, make it solid. No, look, you all know everyone should get T-shirts. Does anyone in here design T-shirts? I want to get my face with the FHTV logo and it says nothing silly Spurs. Nothing silly Spurs. But again, I mean that. Go there. First 10, 15 minutes. Nothing silly. No massive high line. No flooding forward in number. Just go there. Be sensible. Manage the game. That's what I want to see. Can we manage the game? I completely agree with you, Swanix. I completely agree with you. They will have us pinned back. I believe that the best form for Spurs, Swanix, on Thursday is going to be the counter-attack. I think we're going to have to be very patient. We're going to have to concede a lot of the football to Liverpool. We're going to have to deal with wave after wave of attack. You can see it now. How many times is the ball going to go out wide to Salah? How many times is it going to go to Diaz, Gakpo? You know, we're going to have to we're going to have to ride waves of attack, right? But when we do get the opportunity, to counter-attack, we're going to have to do it measured and we're going to have to be clinical. It can't be the wasteful Spurs. It's going to need to be clinical. So look, it's a real interesting matchup. Now we're here. We can get more excited about it. After the 1-0 win, I was like, oh my gosh, it's 4 weeks away and we don't know where we're going to be. We don't know the injuries. We don't know what new signings. Well, now we know. John Lampard said, is it fact VDV? No, there's a lot of theories going round. I think what they do know is that that apparently he's apparently biggest word in football. I always caveat everything. I never say things as fact unless I truly believe they're fact. That he's gone to them after the game against Elfsborg and said that he doesn't feel right. And again, this is what I said. This is the problem. You know, when I was having debates with people like Phil Coys, who's in the chat, and he was going, no, VDV, he'll be absolutely fine for Thursday. And I said, hang on. You've got to remember, this is a guy that's coming back from 3 big hamstring injuries. All of this, he'll be absolutely fine. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And I know the emotion of fans wants to think it does, but it doesn't. And I, for one, if he's not 100% fit, do not put him in on Thursday. If he is not 100% fit, do not put him in. Kai, I will get to this in a minute. A lot of people are asking what my 11 would be. I'll go to it in a minute. If he's not 100% fit, do not start him. As fans, we say, no, if he's 50%, get him in. It's a big game. The damage it could do to his season, to his career, is massive. Yeah? It's massive. Hamstring injuries are a different level of injury to bruises, to knocks, sore ankles. Do you know what I mean? A jerk of the knee. Hamstring injuries are everything. That is the main one as a footballer. I remember when I was working at Charlton, speaking to Paul Mortimer. If anyone remembers that name, anyone remember Paul Mortimer? Played for Charlton for years. And Paul Mortimer showed me his hamstring. I just done all my coaching badges. I'm working at Charlton, and he's getting ready. And I said to him, "Why are you doing that?" And he was getting a lot of kind of deep massage into his hamstring. And he said, "Come and feel this." And I felt his hamstring, and it was rock solid. Like he said, that's how tight my hamstrings are through years of injuries, years of overplaying, years of stretching, tracking back, running up and down. And I will never forget that. And that's why now when I see fans just dismiss hamstring injuries, I always remember Paul Mortimer's hamstring. I always remember it. It was just like, it was, feel your hamstring now. Feel your hamstring now. It just feels like a bit of fat, right? Not fat, but you know what I mean? It just feels like it's soft. You can squidge it about. His was like that. It was rock solid. And he said at any moment, right? At any moment, it can snap. And the problem we're getting to is Van der Ven's had multiple hamstring injuries by this age. This is a real worry. Any sports scientist, any physio will tell you this needs to be managed carefully. So for me, I would not put him in if there is any doubt. If there is any doubt, I would not put him in and then just don't play a high line. Look, each to their own. Each to their own. But for me, I feel like this is going to be a recurring theme throughout his career, unfortunately. And that is why I would get a brand new centre-back partnership next season. Discuss. There you go. There's a controversial one. For me, I want a brand new centre-back partnership because Romero, for me, should go. And I think that Mickey van der Ven, unfortunately, not ability-wise, availability-wise, can't be relied upon. Now, there will be people saying, well, that's on Ange, whatever way. You know, before he joined us, he had an injury with his hamstring as well. And unfortunately, it looks like this is going to be a recurring theme throughout his career. Big up to Nick. Nick, if you're free, let me know. You're always welcome to come on, as is this guy. There he is, one of my favorites, as is Ben Kaufman. Let me know, boys, if you would like to come on. Just raise your hand in the chat. Oh, hang on. So I'm just sorting out the panel for the collective tonight. We've got no Wolfie, unfortunately, but we have got Anne, his partner in crime from Forest Fan TV. Both brilliant lads who I met at the Football Awards last year. Brilliant guys. Ben K, shall I send you the link, Ben K? Where are you? What's your name? Actually, I should probably get the link first. Here you go. Here we go. Tuesday morning chat. Invite guests. Copy. What's your name? Ben K. What's your name? No. Right. Ben Kaufman. There we go. Right. I'll send that to you. And then if Barry wants to join as well, he's more than welcome to. Look, so this is going to be interesting. It's can you park? People are saying just park the bus. It's going to be interesting, right? Can you park the bus at Anfield and do it for 90 minutes in a cup semi-final? I'm not saying you can't. It will be one hell of a monumentous effort. But you know what? Here's one thing I'm going to say. What the game against Brentford did show me is, for all you people that tell me every week, oh, injuries. Isn't it funny? We had injuries the other day. But when we're set up differently, suddenly we look like a team and a unit. But what can Ange do? He's got no players. He's got injuries. And then we put in a defensive performance like that. Might just go to show that it's the tactics. It's the whisper it. Don't upset the Ange fans. It's the tactics. If you get your tactics right, anybody can be hard to beat. Big up Virus Man 2020. Said he pulled his hamstring, putting his underpants on. Brilliant. Ian MacArthur said, we played Liverpool, got beat 6-3. Played them again soon after with a similar 16 and beat them 1-0. Please tell me how we can not go there and get a result. It was all too... Ian, I didn't say we can't. Again, I'm not sure. Can I just ask, I'm pretty sure I said there's no reason why we can't, but it will have to be a monumentous effort. Ian, you've got to remember as well the difference between Liverpool in a first leg at our ground and a second leg at their ground. You know this isn't going to be the same Liverpool team, right? You truly know it's not going to be the same Liverpool team. You know they're going to go full strength, and you know they're going to be so up for it. So when people say things like that, it's a little bit silly. I didn't say we couldn't go there and get a result. I think we can get a draw. But I think we're going to have to get everything absolutely spot on. For me, we're going to have to get everything spot on. This is not Mbuemo and Vissa and Sade and Norgo, who are good players. This is the next level. This is top of the. This is the. Did they win the Champions League group or second behind Barca or something or whatever it was? This is the best team in form in Europe at the moment in terms of the top of the Premier League. Just gone through in the top 8, top 2 of the Champions League. This is a different kettle of fish. This is. I don't know why we have to go through this every year. Like, people seem to forget who these top teams are. Did you go through first? No, we're first. Okay, they've gone through first in that group. Look, by the way, I know what will happen is people will listen to this show and they'll go on to other shows and go, Savva said we're going to get beat. I've said we can get a draw, but it's got to be spot on. The gaps that you're going to have to plug all game. We let was it 50 crosses or 50 clearances we made in the game against Brentford. To repeat that is going to be a huge feat. A huge, huge feat. Can we do it? Stranger things have happened. Will we do it? I want to see the team. I want to see the tactics. Thing is, are we going to do what we did against Leicester? Silly tactics? Or are we going to do sensible tactics like we saw against Brentford? We're going to see. We're going to see. Big up, Ben K. How we doing, brother?
Been a very difficult week so far, but we're going to try and put a smile on our face. I'm going to try and push through. But yeah, it's a tough time at the moment. It's a tough time, but we're keeping positive. We're keeping very, very positive. But we'll get there.
That is the main thing, my man. That is the main thing. You've got to stay positive. So listen, good luck with all of that. Look, let's get to football and see if we can get some positives. We'll talk transfer window in a minute, but look, Liverpool is here. It's now upon us. It's on the doorstep. First question I'll ask you is, do you think we're going to see the same Liverpool and the same display from them that we saw in the first leg? Or is this going to be a completely different Liverpool under the lights at Anfield?
They're going to put their full team out. They'll put their full team out. There's no Champions League in a couple of weeks. There's FA Cup at the weekend, and I suspect early rounds of in the FA Cup they'll rest players. So I think they've got all the room to just go hell for leather against us. So I think it's going to be a tough game. And we'll have to look at it. Liverpool don't have many off days. Maybe when we played them, they had an off day. This will be Liverpool at Anfield under the lights. It's the for Tottenham. It's the most difficult ground to go in Europe. It's the one team that we always 5 wins in 108 years. That just says how little we do against Liverpool. They are the team that we struggle in. That is our bogey team. We've had many bogey teams. In his Bolton was a bogey team. Newcastle was always a bogey team. There's a few teams that Tottenham have always struggled with, but the team we struggle with the most is Liverpool. Yeah. So when we get results against Liverpool, we sort of we breathe. And we'll have to see. Liverpool that's a difficult game. I believe the boys can do it. We've just got to see more what we saw against Brentford and the dreaded inverted fullbacks. We can't see those again. I don't want to see those for the rest of time, let alone against Anfield.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, Benny, if we strip this back, if we truly strip this back, when I see Spurs and think, yeah, we look a unit, it's never by playing his tactics. No. It's always when we ditch those tactics and go to more of a, actually, let's defend as well as attack. You know what I mean? Like, it's against Brentford, Jed Spence didn't invert. Porro didn't invert. The 2 centre mids weren't playing on the halfway line. They were playing in front of the back 4 more. And then we counter-attacked. We looked a team.
We did. We suit, because we've had 3 counter-attacking managers in a row, we look like we are a better counter. We've still got a nucleus of players in that team that suit counter-attacking football. Yes, a lot of them have gone the players like the Højbjergs, that sort of ilk of player. But a lot of that Mickey van der Ven mostly played, from what I remember, Wolfsburg, when he was at Wolfsburg, were more of a counter-attacking side. I can't really remember. I'd have to look about Wolfsburg 3 years ago. I'd not see Wolfsburg as a total football possession team. I'll have to look it up. But Davis, counter-attacking footballer. Jed Spence, I would see more as a counter-attacking footballer. Bentancur played in Italy before he came to us. We are very decent as a counter-attacking team. So why not use it? This is why a manager has to do his job and say, this is what the tools I've got. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
If you've got a hammer, you don't try and use it as a screwdriver. Use it as a hammer. You've got to use what you've got.
Absolutely. And listen, I will never change my stance on this. Is all of the best results we have is when we don't play the kamikaze style of football. And for me, I said this after the Man City win, and we use the Man City as the barometer because it was such a big win. And I was wrong. I thought that Man City would beat us. Even 20 minutes into the game, I thought, God, they're going to annihilate us. They were all over us. Yeah. I got that wrong. And everyone said, there you go, he can change his tactics. And went, okay, cool. Well, let's see what we've got. Let's see what he does. And then we won one of the next 11 league games, Ben. And you go, right, so he didn't learn. Then we do that against Brentford. My worry is already the noises you're hearing from him. When he's asked about the difference in style, he says, well, there's no way I was going to play our normal game. There was no way with the tiredness that we were going to go full tilt. And it's like, hang on, are you saying you adapted for this one?
I thought, and you said we never stop.
Game, right? But are you saying you adapted for this one game, or you've learned and now you know you need to sit in? And this is what I want to see. Not just Thursday. Thursday at Liverpool, you're gonna be sitting in a lot of the game. Liverpool will dictate that. I want to see it now moving forward in the next 5-6 league games. Are we going to go back to kamikaze Tottenham, or are we going to go to sensible Tottenham that we saw against Brentford? And that for me will be the biggest driver that tells me, is he adapting and learning or not?
It will have to see. And I think we saw, although I would say Jed Spence is a right back and he's not a left back, he's still a fullback. Playing fullback or left and right back, it is the same position. It's just on a different side of the pitch. You don't have, I know a lot of people saying that left centre back is a lot different from right centre back. If you've been playing left centre back your entire career, and there's a way of jumping and there's a way of looking at things. But fullback, especially in modern football, is very similar. So having Jed Spencer left back, it's really annoying because I was shouting free Jed Spence from the moment I saw him against Coventry House, because I thought this bloke's a good footballer. I can see that. He's quick. He's a good ball carrier. He's great at tackling. He's a defender. He should be in. As much as I really quite like Udogie and I quite like Porro, I put Jed Spence above both of them now. I think for what we're trying to do, Jed Spence is the ideal fullback because of his ball carrying ability and his speed.
I agree.
I don't see Porro and Udogie as having raw speed. I see them got athleticism and they're quick, but Spence has got raw pace, which is what you need. It's what Carl Walker lived off of it for 15 years.
He's an athlete as well as a defender, isn't he?
Well, but he's an athlete, but he's got raw speed. So that's what you need as a defender playing kamikaze football, because no matter where you are on the pitch, you can get back and you can get goal side. So I think if we play as a unit, I think we'll be a lot more difficult to beat, and that's what you've got to do. That's what wins you football matches. Conceding less goals wins you titles, which is why they've always said attack wins you games, defense wins you titles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I mean, yesterday was, the game against the game against Brentford. I was just sending the link to Nick for 10 minutes time. The game against Brentford was our first win in 8 Premier League games. So for me, I want to see, were the tactics adopted to stop the rot, or were the tactics adopted because he's learning? I've got to see that for myself. That no one can tell me. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can say right now that will convince me. There's nothing anyone else can say.
You've got to see it in multiple games, and you say, okay, I can understand this now.
I've got to see it. And you know what? But again, Ben, we've talked about this loads. Everyone who talks about the tactics, it's funny because when we beat Man City, no one talked about injuries, right? When we beat Liverpool in the Cup, no one talked about injuries. When we beat Brentford the other day, no one talked about injuries. The games we lose, suddenly, I don't have the players to do anything. Well, you do. We've seen sporadically, you do. And we've seen that you do have the players to do things. What you don't have the players to do, apparently, though, is play your kamikaze gung-ho football. When you stop doing that, we look like and again, this is the ego, Ben. You and I have both used the term, if I'm not wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, you know me, I won't be offended. We've both used the term vanity project when talking about this manager. For me, it's, can this manager put his ego aside and say, what I want to do and what works in my head, what works in Scotland and Japan isn't going to work here. I'll adapt. Because if he does that, fans like me and you can come on side with him and say, cool, thank you, Ange. This is what we wanted. Problem is, if he doesn't do that, then you've got to look and say, okay, these one-off wins are going to happen every now and then. But
they become an anomaly, don't they? If we win one game in 8, the one is an anomaly.
I'll save this for later, Yerams. I'll come back to this question because that's interesting. By the way, a user, thank you very much. I said Levy plays a blinder every season. Told you, he's a genius. He might not be a genius in the way you think I'm saying it, but the man's a genius. Makes all these rush signings on deadline day to get people excited and wet, which in turn will reduce the noise.
The release of the Beyonce news yesterday. It's from a marketing standpoint, it is genius because every single person is talking about it now. No one's talking about the crap transfer window we had. Everyone's talking about Beyonce. There is a rule in marketing. There is no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
And they have released that on deadline day, early in the morning, as people are waking up and getting ready. The first thing most football fans will do is open Sky Sports. What's happening today? What time is Jim White coming on with his yellow tie? The first thing they see is Beyonce, 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 Beyonce.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
listen,
played an absolute blinder. They
it's
got
stupid.
people excited with the Guehi news. When we get to the transfer window, we'll talk about Mark Guehi because,
Yeah,
like,
we'll
even
get there.
people like me, I'd be like, "Come on, just make Mark Guehi work." I'd love to have Mark Guehi. That's if we bought in a Guehi yesterday, I'd be like, "Yes, thank you. That's what I want. That's what I want. Proper centre half."
We'll get to Gray. We'll get to Gray.
They're genius.
We'll get to Gray. But listen, Ayuso, thank you very much. As I said, Levy is brilliant at what he does. He is super. People will hate me saying this, but if they actually get what I'm saying, I said yesterday, you watch. The Tell signing will be one of the last signings announced of the transfer window by Tottenham late, because then that's what you remember. Now, if they had signed Tell on Friday, we'd be sitting there, this transfer, this last few days going, we need more this, we need more that. But that's what people will remember now. He's very, very clever, is Daniel Levy. He gets people thinking about what he wants them to think about rather than what the actual issues at the football club are. And Ben's right. Yesterday, we've gone from Spurs, it would have been, I believe, a record fee for Guehi, who we'll talk about in a minute. We've gone from record fee in the morning to lunchtime, releasing news about Beyonce's, whatever her tour's called. I can't remember.
It's the Cowboy Carter tour.
The Cowboy Carter tour. Then they've taken that down. They took that tweet down because people were going, hang on a minute, it's deadline day. Announce some signings. Again, bad timing, but good timing because people are talking about it. Then we've gone, Tell. Now, that is what we call, a shit sandwich, right? It's brilliant news, something the fans don't care about, which is the shit in the sandwich. Brilliant news, we signed someone. Slap that together. That is a PR marketing masterclass from Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I like it, but business-wise, it's brilliant. So thank you very much, Ayuso. We will talk about Guehi in a minute. I just want to say this. Again, I don't think this guy's quite understood what I'm saying. He never does. I know he's Australian. He loves Ange. Sav, come on.
He said before about bogey teams and how bogey teams are not real. Yes, they are.
Oh, God. Again, you can tell he's
are.
not supported Spurs long if he believes that. When you say, come on, when teams win, there is little scrutiny. Why? Because they're winning. Ian, you've missed my point. My point is that if we can beat Liverpool and Man City and Brentford, right? When you then lose to Leicester and teams like Ipswich and people go, it's the injuries. Well, no, it's not. You've seen that with good coaching and with good adapting, we can change and beat teams. So that was my point, Ian. It's not that we should be moaning when we're losing. You've not understood what I've said. Let's have a look. Ayuso, thank you very much for that. I really, really appreciate that. And that's why my phone, Ayuso, last night at about midnight, every WhatsApp group I'm in was just like, Jesus, have we signed Lionel Messi? Like the comments were just out mental. Ben, let's talk about Mark Guehi. Sorry, just quickly, who would I rather play? For me, the romantic side of me quite likes the idea of a North London derby final.
The first one ever.
And the problem with this, right? The problem with that, Ben, let's talk about the problem is the North London derby as a final is superb for whoever wins, right?
Yeah.
The bragging rights all year, years to come. The losing team, you now no longer are going, well, at least we got to a final. It's Arsenal beat us.
Yeah.
Tottenham beat us. It is mad, isn't it? Which would you prefer?
Newcastle. If I'm as a Tottenham fan, Newcastle, because we can beat Newcastle. We showed in the game we lost against Newcastle. We lost both games, but the first game we can put up a game against Newcastle. Just a couple of tweaks, we could have won that game because we actually played quite well that game. It's just their finishing was much better, and we made loads of mistakes. Arsenal are a team we are incapable of beating at the moment because we are terrible at set pieces. And what's the one thing that Arsenal are brilliant at? Set pieces. And
Yeah.
what are most goals in finals? Set pieces, firing balls in the box. That they will do to us what Liverpool did to us in the Champions League final when I had the displeasure of being at that game. They will score early from a set piece and put 10 men behind the ball for the rest of the game and say, break us down. They will say it like that. They'll go full Cockney, break us down. They'll sit there the entire game, 10 men behind the ball. It's what they'll do. I would rather play Newcastle because if I'm in a final, I want to play a team we're more likely to beat, and we're more likely to beat Newcastle. Personally.
I agree. Now, listen, just quickly, I'm going to ask a favor from everybody in my chat. I'm going to ask a favor for everybody in my chat. There are over 550 of you. Now, this isn't about me. This is about my mate, Ben K. He is 74 subscribers away from the 1,000. 74. There's 550 of you in here. Please, please, please. I'm going to put this link in. I'm going to highlight it. This link right here. Surely we can get 74 very generous people. And what I would say is this: you don't understand the work rate that goes into this. And Ben is very generous to all the other channels. He helps with the modding duties. He's always a good friend to people in the background. When, believe it or not, some YouTubers do talk to each other about things that aren't just football and they're not just Tottenham Hotspur. Listen, he's had a difficult week. Not going into it. He's had a difficult week. Please, can we get that number before the end of this show?
If you want to see more toxic snakery, apparently, if they're in the chat, they know who they are. Toxic snakery. Go and subscribe to this channel.
So come on, guys and girls, please, please, please do that. The link is there. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to pin that link. Don't worry about me today. Let's pin that. And if listen, we always talk about being a community, don't we? We always talk about being together. We always talk about real Spurs fans, fake Spurs fans. Listen, if we're going to be a community, then can we support each other in that way? I've been very lucky that lots of you have subscribed to me over the years. And now if you could subscribe and share that love with Ben, that would be amazing. I have just pinned that message. Hopefully I've pinned that message correctly. Hopefully you'll see that. That would be amazing. Come on, guys and girls. We're going to keep going back to it. We're nearly at 950. Come on, guys. We're 56 subscribers away. Please, please, please. Let's get that to 1K. I'm not going to rest on that. So to hear me shut up about it, smash that subscribe button. Don't worry about me. I'll be absolutely fine. Please, let's get this done. Ben, we'll come back to that in a minute, but hopefully that helps you out, brother.
Yeah.
Look, guys and girls, let's talk Mark Guehi. Let's talk Mark Guehi. Oh, by the way, Phil, we'll get to this in a minute. I don't think the Tell signing is meh, but I do think it's unknown because he's 19 and can't get a game at Bayern. But we'll see. Look, Mark Guehi. Now, I really like Mark Guehi, Ben. I think Mark Guehi is one of those players that fans don't get excited about because it's not a big, sexy foreign name, right? I think, though, he is everything this back four needs. Not now. I mean, as a football club, we need a leader of men with experience, good with both feet, good in the air, and who's available. Now, I look at Mark Guehi, and I said yesterday, for me, he walks into Spurs, and he's my number one centre-half, right? For many reasons. I was very excited a few weeks ago when I heard, hang on, Spurs might, and then I thought, oh, this is paper talk. Then to find out we've put a bid in with 2 days to go in the transfer window when Crystal Palace are going to be losing potentially their best player
and their captain,
right? Without being able to replace him, really frustrated me. And more so, Ben, and sorry for the long-winded rant, more so because in the summer, he's going to have 12 months left on his contract. And Man City are going to want centre-halves. Liverpool, maybe if Van Dijk goes. Chelsea will be after centre-halves. And obviously, he was there before. Newcastle, they want a centre-half. Arsenal might want. That's the key thing for me. So I was really pleased to see the news about Guehi, but it did feel very much like a bit of misdirection to get us excited when really they knew it wasn't going to happen. Am I being harsh on my mate Daniel Levy?
No, you're not. When I did a few I knew that Mark Guehi was a really good footballer and I really liked him pre-Euros.
Yeah.
But he was England's best player at the Euros last year. He was absolutely brilliant in every single game that I saw him in. He was assured. He was technically great, always never really making a mistake. He was not the reason that England didn't win the Euros. The moment I saw that, that's a defender I want in my back four. Someone said in the chat, I think it was let's find it. If we bought in Mark Guehi, I would immediately put him in the captaincy role as either a vice or maybe even I think he is everything you need as a captain. Solid, dependable. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And if we sign the Mark Guehi, that's an exciting signing. That for me. Like I would put that up with the top signings we've ever made, full stop. Because I just think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's brilliant.
No, I agree with you. Thank you, but I'll come to Nick. Thank you guys, by the way, for all those that have subscribed to Ben. Come on, you tight gets. We are 50 away. We are 50 away. There's over 500 of you in here. I need 10% of you. The button is there. There it is. Please go and smash that. Guys, make somebody's day. Make somebody's day who's had a really tough week in their personal life. Go and smash that button. And if we can put a little smile on people's faces, isn't that better than not? Talking about smiles on faces, here is Nick, who I introduced to Nando's chocolate cake, and he will always thank me for that. Tell me you didn't have a smile on your face that day, Nick.
I just every time I have a smile on my face with that Nan. I mean, we had one the other week, and I did share, and I did send you the picture because I thought I had to share it because chocolate cake or whatever it's called, plus the cream at Nando's is the best cake you'll probably ever try in your life. So if you do want cake, go and get some of that and get it in your face. So.
Even if you don't buy any chicken, just go in there and order.
There's been times in the past where I've actually just ordered the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, my mate's back. I love this. Ian MacArthur's not been in my chat for about 2 months because Spurs haven't won a league game for 7. We win our first league game in 8, right? And he's here. I love these people. So seriously, guys, you cannot keep saying we are poor. We have bad tactics and a bad manager, yet you want Guehi. Yes, we can. Yes, we absolutely can. Because whatever happens, Ian, we are a bigger football club than Crystal Palace. Yeah. And again, I can say that we've been poor. We have been poor. I can say we've had bad tactics because we have had bad tactics. And I can say we've got a bad manager because I do believe we have. And yes, I do want Guehi to sign because how do people get better? You buy better, you get better. Really,
that's what a lot of the people have been saying it to Ange. If you want Ange's system to work, buy better players. Guehi's a better player than all. Like, I love Mickey van der Ven. I think Guehi's a better defender than Mickey van der Ven.
He's a better defender. But look, let's have this chat. Nick,
if you had a back three of Romero, Guehi, and Mickey van der Ven, that's one of the best back threes in the league. Full stop. It's one of the best back threes in Europe.
Well, I said this yesterday, Nick. For me, I'm bored of the whole Romero game. I'm bored of this game now, Nick, every season of excuses made for him. Is he fit for Spurs? Is he fit for Argentina? Is he injured? Is he suspended? I'm bored of it now. I think if we want to act like a proper club, let's get some players that are always available. When you look at Liverpool, like, let's be fair. I know Van Dijk had his massive injury. Other than that massive injury, Van Dijk's there, right? Week in, week out, right? Look at Arsenal, Gabriel and Saliba. They don't miss a lot of football between them, do they? Gabriel and Saliba. You look at you look down the years, the Man United teams that won things, the Chelsea teams that won things. these clubs had their centre-backs available to them week in, week out. They weren't injury-prone. They got on with it. For me, I said yesterday, Nick, if we had earlier in the window gone and got a Mark Guehi, and you said you've got a back three now for the season of Guehi in the middle, Danso to the right, and Van der Ven to the left, suddenly I'm going, okay, all right, we've now got a solid base. But it was the pathetic attempt with 2 days to go, Nick, which is annoying me. What says you about Guehi?
Yeah. Look, I think I think we're all on the same page in terms of, did we expect anything different from Tottenham in terms of what happened yesterday with the transfer news, until it was even when it was done, we weren't thinking it was done until the club had announced it, right? Because it was the tell thing and everything else. It was just an absolute shambles, and it was just like what Spurs are. It was Spursy. The transfer window was Spursy, and I think, look, for Mark Guehi, like, everyone was kind of looking at it going, "What? Where's that come from? Is that a Paratici in the background doing a bit of smoke screening, and we're going, everything else is in play." But look, what we've, if he can't, is he going to come in the summer? I don't think so. Is Romero is, for me, I agree with you. I think that, he started off being too rash and getting booked and sent off and costing us games in that respect. Then he did the usual, I'm not fit for Spurs, but I'm fit for Argentina. And I think it's, if we're gonna, if we're gonna build this platform and build this base, we need to build it around players that, one, want to play for this club, two, play for this club, from being available, not through just being available for their country, but also ones that we have an upgrade where we don't have an Archie Gray playing and a Dragusin playing because that's all we've got, or a Spence covering, or a Basuma slotting in there because we've got all these injuries. Van der Ven, just on that, because I know you touched on it, I will be surprised if we see Van der Ven again this season.
I would as well.
Well, can I let you know something, Nick? Can I let you know something? Since he's been here 4 years now, Christian Romero, do you have a guess as a percentage of Premier League games in 4 seasons? What percentage he's been available for?
34%?
No, it's more than 34%.
I would say 45%.
No, well, you think he's missed half the games? He's been available for 67% of the games.
Oh,
right, which is okay if you're a centre forward or a winger or an attacking midfielder. But when you're talking about building a defensive partnership, the guy misses more than 30% of our football matches, right? Through suspension, through injury. I don't get it. Like, I would get it if he was Virgil van Dijk, right? If he was Ledley King, I get it, right? You go, oh, he misses a lot of games, but when he does play, he's a beast. I get it. But we're talking about a guy here who is, for me, clearly talented.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about that. Clearly talented. Doesn't apply it enough for me. We heard the excuse at first. It was, but he's playing for Conte. Then it was, but he's playing for Ange. Top defenders don't make those excuses, do they? Top defenders shine. Like, if Virgil van Dijk played right now for Spurs, you'd still see Virgil van Dijk shine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. Romero does not suit Tottenham Hotspur as a footballer. The bloke seems to think he's Real Madrid level, but we've said it before, Savva. The team that suits Christian Romero down to a T is Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone. Yes. Someone that's going to say, "You're my pit bull, go and kick people." That's not Tottenham. That's Atletico. He would be great at Atletico with a more cultured defender next to him, which is what he had for Argentina. He had Otamendi next to him, barking orders. He was more of the brain of the back four, and Romero was more of the, I'm going to go out and kick you. That's when Romero shines. When he's asked to be the leader of a back four, he's found wanting because he's too busy trying to kick people. Sometimes you need that. Pepe and Sergio Ramos made their careers out of it, of just kicking people. That doesn't work at Tottenham because we're not Real Madrid. We don't have world-class quality in front of us that are going to pull together if he gets sent off. We need every single man at the pub. And if he's getting sent off every couple of games or getting suspended or getting injured, he's not there. He's a captain that's left his ship. It's almost like the Italians will know it. It's the Schettino syndrome. That's what Romero is. He leaves. When it gets difficult, Romero's not there.
I think the difficulty for me is here with this is if we now group Van de Ven into that, guys, I think the difficulty is as much as forget who likes who and who doesn't like who and who thinks this player's world class or not. The fact is we can't move forward as a football club, can we, guys? With banking on these two as a pairing. It's just constantly one thing after another. Suspensions, international duty, dilemmas, hamstring injuries, manager rushing the back. It just feels like we need to get us. I feel like we need a solid centre back. And when I look at Guehi, he just fits that bill. Now, listen, I'm not silly enough to say if we bid, we're the only club that get him. But what I am saying is, if you did want Guehi in the January transfer window, maybe put that bid in week one. Maybe test the waters week one. Turn the player's head. By the way, they would know. By the way, they would not have put in a bid if Guehi wasn't interested. By the way, I don't know. I know lots of people don't seem to understand how football transfers work. We would have talked to Guehi's agent and said, if we bid, is there interest from your player's side? And if the agent says absolutely none, he has zero interest. But let's be fair. As poor as we are at the moment, players will leave Crystal Palace to come to Tottenham Hotspur. I'm sorry. It is the food chain. They will.
For wages.
So, Jay, let me bring you in here. Why didn't we make that bid beginning of the window and leave ourselves 3 to 4 weeks for Palace to find a replacement and for Spurs to actually make a statement? Hey, we're backing the manager. Hey, we believe in this project. You know, I hate that word. There's Mark Guehi, England's #1 centre-back. Boom. Why?
Well, first of all, big up everyone. Big up the chat as well, man. But,
morning, man. Morning.
If I'm being honest, I look at it a little bit different. I don't believe that we ever wanted Guehi, to be honest. I just believe that it was a bit of a, well, look, I'm trying sort of thing. Like, I'm making an effort. I am putting the money on the table, you know. It's not easy signing players. And I think it's just a get out of jail card, honestly, man. Because I honestly believe, there is no way on earth that we wouldn't have been looking at him from the beginning of the window or even before the window. So it's like you leave it till the day before to put a bid in. Like, it just seems a bit ridiculous. Like, obviously, Palace are not going to accept it. One, because, well, no disrespect to any Palace fans, but I don't believe they have the necessary pulling power, so to say, to bring in someone the last day of the window who's going to be of his quality or at least on that level or better to replace him. So it was a bit of it's a ridiculous bid, to be honest. But hey, man.
But this is why, Jay, this is why clubs like Palace, though, what they're very good at is, if given time, they go and find players like, if you look at Lacroix, anyone who's seen Lacroix play for Palace, he was actually Mickey van der Ven's teammate at Wolfsburg. He's a really good defender. I think they snapped him up for, if I'm not wrong, someone will tell me, I think it was like 15 million euros or something. And again, if you go to Palace in the beginning of the window and say, listen, how much do you want? Every player's got a price, right? Every player. If you go to Palace at the beginning of the window and say, what do you want? Here's 55 with add-ons to 70. If they say, no, we need 65 with add-ons to 80, at least then it allows the club to make that decision. And it allows Palace to say, Nick, I'll mute him. I don't know why I've done that. I can mute him. I don't know why I've done that. I can mute him. I'm not sure why I did that. The power. You know, that then gives Crystal Palace time to turn around and go, well, we've got 4 weeks to do this. And by the way, clubs will have players on their list. It won't be like right now, Palace don't have centre-back targets. right? They won't. That's what their scouts and director of football are paid to do. They've got lists of players that are on their that are on their wanted list, so to speak. But the difference is when you give a club 2 to 3 days, it's that knock-on effect. So they say, yeah, all right, you can have Guehi. Brilliant. Okay, that all goes through. So now they approach a club and go, hey, we want so-and-so. That club's then got to go, hang on, we've now got to go and find a replacement for that player. And so forth and so forth. And that for me was the frustration. By the way, this guy's doing my head in. Ian, do you know where I lost all respect for this question, my friend? Was when you said, Guehi would look at the league standings and say, why would I move for lower wages? You truly believe we would pay lower wages than Crystal Palace? This is where fans are deluded. First and foremost, Ian, you're the one that's been backing and saying Tottenham aren't in a bad position with Ange. You keep telling me Ange is great and this is all part of a plan. But then when I say we should go and get a better player, you're telling me, well, why would they come? Which one is it? Is the manager doing a good job and everything's going according to plan and he's great and he's got a plan, or we can't attract players? And does anyone here believe Crystal Palace pay better wages than Tottenham Hotspur?
No.
They can't. They don't generate enough money.
They don't have a £1 billion stadium and Beyonce playing there in June. And like what Spurs' revenue in one game is probably more than Palace's for the entire month. It's crazy the amount of revenue that Tottenham Hotspur can bring in. This is the problem, and they've been arguing about it on TalkSport, and that's why people are annoyed that we're paying 42% of the overall revenue on wages for players. If we wanted to, we could pay top dollar and it wouldn't affect us. It wouldn't affect us at all because the amount of revenue we physically pull in. And now we've got the planning permission to do even more events. And it wouldn't surprise me if by the end of the year, they've applied for even more events. They are making that stadium a money printer. It just prints and it prints and it prints and it prints. Every single time that stadium opens its doors, 3 million quid. 3 million quid. Liverpool game on Thursday. When we next play there, 3 million quid comes in the door.
Do you know what? Do you know, guys? Do you know what Mark Guehi's on at Palace a week?
25.
I just looked.
25 grand is my guess.
He's on more than 25.
I'd say 55, 60.
Nick, what are you guessing? Mark Guehi's weekly salary at Crystal Palace?
You're muted.
There you go. I had to mute you.
You can mute me. So you can mute me. I can't mute. That's what I'm saying. I can't even shut down my laptop. I don't know what's going on. So what was he? Sorry, say that again.
Guehi, if you had to guess, what's his weekly salary at Crystal Palace?
Weekly? 30, 35?
He's on 50k a week.
Wow.
Right? He's on 50k a week. To put that in perspective, that's less than Archie Gray. Right? Yeah. And we've got Spurs fans saying, why would he join Spurs to be on less weekly wages than Palace? Spurs could offer him 150 grand a week.
That's what I would do.
It's not a problem.
I would pay them 80 million quid and give him 150 grand a week and make him in the captaincy role. That's what I would do. Get in the taxi. He's there.
But what I will concede, guys, is now that this goes to the summer with a player like Mark Guehi, we're using him as the example. Now I don't see any way of doing it. I genuinely don't see any way of doing it in the summer. First and foremost, the moment any club with Champions League football comes forward for him, we're out the running. Second of all, I just think the bigger clubs will look at him as he ticks every box. Premier League proven, experience, homegrown, right? England international, good with both feet, good in the air, leader. He ticks every box for every club. Anyone expect to see Mark Guehi in a Spurs shirt next season?
No.
Just checking. That's why Danso, I'm not knocking Danso. That's why Danso is a little bit more appealing at 20 million for a obligation. Jay, talk to me. Spurs transfer window. For me, it was okay. It was all right. It was nothing to write home about. What are you making about it?
I said I gave it before what's his face Tell came in. I gave it a 2, but Tell's come in now, so I can move that up to a 4. And the reason I say that is because Daniel Levy showed his hand, right? He showed that we can put 70 million down for a top player. We can go out and put the money down for a top player.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to do it. The reason why he doesn't want to do it is because, again, like you said, he doesn't want to pay the wages. I said we needed to get a midfielder to shore up that midfield, because Bissouma he's not the player we thought we were getting from Brighton. Pat Sarr's too inconsistent. Yes, he's young, however, he's too inconsistent, and we can't rely on Bentancur to stay fit or to be consistent. Bergvall and Archie Gray. Well, Archie Gray doesn't even get used in the midfield. And again, Bergvall's an 18-year-old. So we needed a midfielder to come in, an experienced midfielder. I wanted an old head. Now, maybe not Jordan Henderson, but a Jordan Henderson type player.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I said we needed to bring in a fullback. We need to bring in a left back to cover for a doggy. Why? Because 1, Jed Spence is not a left back. And 2, if we lose Jed Spence, well, what do we do then? Then we're left to play Reguilon, right? Or we have to use Archie Gray there. It just doesn't make sense. Bring in cover. So those are the 2 positions that I wanted to see come in. Ideally, this window, I wanted a centre-back, a left-back, and a midfielder. We got a centre-back.
Well, the thing is, Jay, the thing is, for me, it's interesting you talk about an experienced head. And listen, I like the Jordan Henderson analogy. What people will do, some people in the chat will not listen to what you said and say that Jay wants Jordan Henderson. But I get it. We need, like when James Milner has gone to clubs, as that steady, old, experienced head that knows what to do and how to coach the youngsters, so to speak. I think the interesting thing is we've all sat there all year going, oh my God, it's too young. We need experience. We made a mistake in the summer just buying youth. Then we get to the January transfer window and straight away again, 2 of our signings are kids. Kinski's a kid, Tell's a kid. And it's almost like we're not learning. And those same fans that were saying, oh, Ange wasn't back, to the same ones now going, oh, Tell, Kinski. It's getting so young. I don't know who these players learn off. I don't know where they get there. I don't know who they learn off, because Son isn't a captain. I don't care what anyone says.
No.
That man is not a leader. I don't see any way, shape, or form he is. Other than that, where's the experience? Nick, let me ask you, are you surprised, Nick, of the 3 signings? Again, 2 are kids, and Danso is 25, but again, we're not bringing through experience. We're not bringing in leaders. Are you surprised?
Nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, look, I think we spoke about this the other day on Saturday in terms of, do we think, who looks at Spurs, experienced players thinking, to come to Spurs, right? And I don't see why anyone would. And what are we attracting? I think, look, if we get through to the final of the Carabao Cup, we somehow get over the line and win that, we know we're definitely in Europe, right? So we're probably definitely. I mean, I don't know how it works. Does it still work? The runner-up goes into Europe if the winners. I don't know if it still works like that or what have you. Who knows? But we've said for a long time we need leaders, we need experienced players, but I think everyone's just looking at us going, we're an utter mess. So are we actually going by what you were saying and saying, is this going to be a youth project? Are we going to stick with this for 4 years? Are we going to stick with this manager for another 2-3 years? And is that what we're doing by not saying that's what we're doing, if that makes sense?
Mm. Yeah. By the way, if anyone looks at Fabrizio Romano's X page right now, there's lots of quotes from Cristiano Ronaldo. I feel like I want to read a few of them out to you. I know it's got nothing to do with Spurs, but this guy is, I mean, if his head gets any bigger, I don't know how he's going to get through the door. Cristiano Ronaldo has said this in different ways. I'm sure there's reason. He said, I am the best player ever. I believe that. I'm fast. I'm strong. I score with my head, left foot, right foot. No one has ever been more complete than me. He's gone on to say, I have a good relationship with Leo Messi. I was translating for him recently at an award ceremony. It was funny. It was a healthy rivalry. We get along. He said, if I finish on 920, 925 goals, it doesn't matter to me. I'm the best in history, period. If I reach 1,000 goals, great. If not, that's fine too. Numbers don't lie. He said, I had some really bad coaches. Some of them don't have an effing clue about football at all. And Vinny Jr. deserved the Ballon d'Or, but I'm not surprised. Not only because I didn't win it or not, but because it lacks credibility. Hey, I'm the most complete player ever. To say that Cristiano isn't complete is a lie. You may prefer Pele, Messi, Maradona. I understand and respect that. You've got to love Cristiano Ronaldo. The boy was born with confidence. I'll give him that. By the way, just quickly on transfer news, 15 minutes ago, I don't know if anyone has seen this. I feel like I've gone back in time about 6 years. Fabrizio Romano says he understands that Willian is currently undergoing a medical at Fulham. I'm so sure that happened like 5-6 years ago, didn't it? Apparently Willian is going back to Fulham. And Man City youth player Jacob Wright, I think it's Jacob Wright, has just completed a loan move to Norwich, and it includes a 5 million obligation to buy. So again, Man City making money from their youth in one way or another. Let's get back to Spurs. Let's talk about the guy that came in then that's got some experience, Danso. He has played Champions League football. Lots of people are torn on this one, Jay, with Danso. Lots of people are torn on him. I think he's a good player. I do. I've seen him, and I think at times I think, oh, you look good. At other times it's like, not sure, but good player. Are you expecting him, Jay, to go straight into the 11 Thursday night? This is my question for you, Barry, as well afterwards. Does he go straight in against Liverpool?
Well, I think he's probably going to have to now that Van der Vem's out again. I think he's probably going to have to because, well, by the way, Savva, just quickly, remember, I think it was you that said that we're never getting our players back. We're never getting them back. We aren't. We just aren't. Every time one comes back, one goes back out. It's a cycle. So I believe he's probably going to have to. I would prefer him to start with Ben Davis, an actual centre-back, so that he can kind of, at least if he can build a bit of a partnership with Ben Davis, then that's a positive, rather than Archie Gray being there. Give him a break, give the kid a rest, because I'm telling you, him and Pedro Porro are next on the chopping block in terms of injuries, because they have been non-stop since November, non-stop. So yeah, I probably think it would be smart to play in the week, but then again, you never know. Ange might say, "Oh, I saw something in training," or "I didn't think he was ready." I mean, you can't tell me he's not ready. He's an experienced footballer, whether we like it or not. I know he's young, but like you said, he's got Champions League experience. He's playing in the French League, Lens, which is a very physical league, anyways. For anyone that does watch League 1, you will know that it's very
it's powerful.
You do have to be capable to play.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that, man.
No, I agree. Nick, lots of people, some people are saying keep it the same. Davis Gray from the other night. For me, I think it's the ultimate Spursiness to spend all window wanting a centre-half, getting one, and then the first game he's available, we go, no, play Archie Gray in there. I feel like he's got to go in, right? If this is the guy we signed, surely. Or you disagree? I don't know.
Yeah, look, I think we need a couple of double Ds for Thursday night. Davis and Danso.
Danso.
Look, I think
Danny. Can you put their names together to get a
Davso.
Danvies. Or Dannies.
So we got Danvies at the back. Okay, Danvies, yes or no?
Yes.
It's so. Have they changed the rule that if you sign a player you can play him in the second leg, even though he wasn't signed pre-first leg. Have they changed that rule?
I don't know what the
He can
rules.
play. He can play.
He can play.
He can-
Okay,
he can
I
play.
did
Yeah,
that.
he's available to play. That rule was scrapped a few years back.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Yeah, you've got to play him. You've got to play him. As Jay just said, Gray and Porro have both got to be redlining at this rate. Gray, especially as a young kid as well, he can't be getting an injury this early on in his career. That would be a massive career shortener. So I would definitely put him in cotton wool for a couple of games just to manage his minutes, get him back to more match fitness. And you've got this player for 4 months now because it's only a loan. We don't have an obligation. It's an option to buy. We've got him for 4 months. Let's see what he can do. He's match fit. He's been playing every game, I think, for long. So let's see how he does.
Yeah.
Was it a loan? Is that a loan?
It's a loan.
That's a loan with an obligation to buy.
Oh, it's an obligation.
Oh,
okay,
so we have an obligation to buy. Okay.
If I'm not wrong, you know when so much happens, you start that. I'm pretty sure Danso is the obligation, Tell is the option. If I'm right in that way.
Yeah, that's right. But my understanding is the option is if Spurs say they want to sign him, Tell can't say no, right?
No, that you would never be able to do that, right? You'd never.
No.
You'd never be able to do that to a footballer.
I thought it was confirmed that we had signed him for 25 million.
No. It'll be 20.9 million £20.9 million obligation in the summer.
Okay. All right.
20.9 obligation. Lots of people are coming in and saying VDV is confirmed as injured. Can anyone give me a source, please?
I can tell you that he's injured because I was the first person to say that he was injured after the information that I was provided with. But I cannot release my source.
I see.
Right, so I'm back to where I was before you wasted 15 seconds of my life telling me that. Can anyone give me a source, please? I need a source,
I'll give you a sauce. Tomato ketchup, burger sauce, Nando's medium.
Can't forget barbecue sauce, man.
Barbecue sauce. Those are sauces.
No, I was seeing stuff about it last night. Me and George are going to talk about it later because we've got a show together. But I was a bit worried. Man. When I saw that, I was praying that it was fake. Like, please be fake, man. Because I don't understand. Surely he's going to leave. Surely he's going to look to leave if this guy can't stay fit. And I'm sure, that it's just at Tottenham. If he was his injury record wasn't bad like this at Wolfsburg, it was, you know what I'm saying? If he leaves this club, I won't be surprised, bro. Because he's getting injured too often now. It's becoming ridiculous. He's been back for one game. And I don't know why he started that game against Brent. Was it Brentford or was it Brentford?
Elfsborg.
No, it was in the week against
Elfsborg.
What's it called? Elfsborg. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why he started. He had no need to start. But
look, I think the difficulty is, look, we can all, and again, as I've always said, when people say, "Oh, poor Ange and players are out," listen, this didn't need to happen. When he brought back Van der Ven against Chelsea, he didn't need to do it. He did not need to do it. He had Radu Dragusin fit. He had no need to leave Radu out and play both of them against Chelsea. They both got injured, and when a player gets injured once, you go, that's unlucky. When it's the same injury because the manager has rushed him back in, you have to say, well, that's just stupidity. Look, it's what we've been talking about all show. For me, he is injury prone. Romero is injury prone. These players are injury prone. We've got to do something about it. And I know people take that to heart that means I don't rate Van der Ven, and it's not that at all. But me rating a player that's never fit doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If you're never fit to play for my club, it doesn't really mean anything. Look, guys, we talked about Danso. I mean, for me, sorry, I said it. I would start him. You said yes, Jay, you'd start him. Nick, did you say you'd start him?
Yes.
Yeah. Ben, would you start?
Yeah,
you start him?
Start him.
Okay. So everyone start Danso. What I do know is, either way, this is going to be funny because if he has a stinker and we lose, it will be told you we shouldn't have played Danso. If Danso has a blinder and we win, it will be Told you we should have played Danso. Like, it's
If
gonna
we
be
win and Danso played and he has a really good game, they'll be saying he's world class and how he's scary. And then the people will say he's the perfect signing. All these buzzwords, a big yellow block at the bottom of the screen saying amazing signing.
I agree. But by the way, sorry, I mean, didn't I read out that Romero's been available for 67% of Premier League games over 4 years. If that's not injury prone, I don't know what is. Yeah, sometimes players have a big injury, doesn't make them injury prone. When you have an injury every year and you're not playing the majority of, come on, Phil, I feel like you're getting really silly lately. I love you to bits, dude, but lately it's kind of like you're just saying things to go against me for the sake of it. Guys, does Tell go straight in against Liverpool? And if so, where? We're hearing that he wants to be a centre forward. Does he come straight in up front? Does he go wide left? Does he go wide right? Does he start on the bench? What we saying?
Personally, I would play him as a number 9 against Liverpool. Richarlison is not fit. I still would say he's only 45% fit because I think majority of the time he's not fit. I think Tell is fit and ready to go. He's much younger. He's going to be hungrier for this game. I'd play Sonny on the left. I'd play Tell through the middle, and I'd play Mikey Moore on the right. And towards the latter stages of the game, when we're hopefully scrapping for the win, that's when you bring on Richarlison to ruffle their feathers up, because Richarlison does love a goal against Liverpool. He does. For us, he usually gets one against them. So I would bring on Richarlison late in the game just to slow the game down a bit and be a bit of that sort of that fighter that you need. But I don't think he's fit to play a whole 90, especially if it goes to extra time as well. You're going to want a Richarlison for penalties and for that latter stages of the game, tired legs, don't want to come up against someone physical that puts their elbow in. I think he's the right player for a latter stage of a game. I would play Tao up there because he's young and we're going to need a bit of energy.
Jay, do you agree?
Am I frozen? Oh, I'm back. It's a difficult one. Because if I'm being completely honest, I don't want Mikey Moore to start. I think this is a big cup game. We have to. I know everyone says, "Oh, we only need a draw." We have to win. We have to beat these lot. They're not gonna let us come to Anfield and stink out a 0-0 or a 1-1. They're gonna go for the jugular. So we have to win this game. And as much as I do rate Mikey Moore, I wouldn't want him to start. I would prefer Tell to start on the right. Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're here. We've got you.
Oh, back.
Yeah,
I prefer Tell to start on the right. Personally, I want him to start on the right-hand side. I think I know he can play across the front three, and he is a decent centre forward and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. In fact, no, tell a lie. You see, it's a hard one because we don't have Maddison. So I would have started Kulu on the right, Tell through the middle, Sonny down the left, and then put Maddison in the hole. But because we have no Maddison, I feel like he's going to put Kulusevski in the hole, and he might be inclined to chuck a youngster in. Personally, we should just set up 4-4-2, Tell and Sonny up front, and just let them run. Just let them chase everything. But
wouldn't you want, if it does get to a latter stages of the game though, Jay, don't you want your more experienced players coming on later in the game for when the chips are down? That's why I'm saying maybe start the youth players, because they're going to have a bit of hunger, a bit of energy, and they're going to be able to run for longer. But when it slows down,
that's a fair point. When it
slows down, that's when you want your experienced heads to say, okay, I'm gonna take this game by the scruff of the neck.
My only thing is I feel like sometimes the occasion can be a big factor when you play these young players. Now, you have some young players, which I'm sure Mikey Moore is one of these young players who want the opportunity. They'd love to play in a big game. You know what I mean? They take the opportunity with both hands. But my only fear is that Anfield is a very, very, I've been to Anfield many times. Anfield on a night game under the lights, especially in a cup final, that stadium is going to be rocking, and that might play a part into us, into the youngsters not performing to the level that I would expect. However, you do make a good point. You do make a valid point about having experienced players coming off the bench. For me, it kind of just all depends on how Liverpool set up, because there's the argument that they're going to go full strength this week, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah.
But if they don't go full strength, then yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
It's a very tricky game.
It's very tricky.
There's no tricks. It's not Halloween, right? It's not trick or treat. It's as simple as this. Tell needs to start instead of that donkey Richarlison, because he is not a footballer. I'm sorry. He's not in positions, and people will say about Solanke, right? But at least Solanke would have been in those positions. That Richarlison's the wrong side of players. He's not following play. Look, I think it's going to be the same as what it was against Brentford. Mikey Moore on the right, Sonny on the left, and Tell up top. I think that's what we need to go. If we're gonna go for this game, we need Kulu in the middle pulling the strings. I think you'll also potentially see Bergvall or Sarr, one of those two, start with Bentancur maybe. Look, I think this, like we said, I think this game suits us perfectly. We don't have to go gung ho. We can hit them on the counter attack. Liverpool have got to score. Even if they score one, they still got to go and score two, right? So that in theory, we should be licking our lips and going, they need to come at us. We don't need to come at them. They come at us. The only worry, and people think it's a good thing, is Trent's not playing. I'd actually prefer Trent to be playing than Connor Bradley, because Connor Bradley can defend. All right, you don't get those crosses, pinpoint passes from Bradley that you do from Trent. But I think Connor Bradley's more of a more rounded footballer, let's just say, than Trent Alexander-Arnold.
He's the X factor, Trent, isn't he? He can either do something incredibly stupid or he do an 80-yard ball that gets a goal. He is.
But Spence against Salah. I'm not worried about Spence against Salah. Salah will probably tear him a new one now. But Salah's. I've said it. Salah's like, why have you said it? Why has he said it? But look, Spence has done well. But
big games, big players, big goals. This is. You've got to remember, this is not White Hart Lane. This is not White Hart Lane in the first leg. This is Anfield second leg. And Mo Salah's going to have a say. He is. This guy, if you give him chance after chance, he's going to score. And the problem is, I kind of get what you're saying about the Trent thing. But for me, I'm glad Trent's not playing, because those balls that he will whip into the box are dangerous. And if we have to withstand the number of crosses we did against Brentford, the law of averages tells you some are going to go in. You can't every game have 50 clearances in your own box.
Why not, Savva? Why can't we have this against Villa? It can happen against Villa. I don't care what happens against Villa. We can lose 6-0.
But the thing is, it's like, let's have a look. Like that shot off the line for Brentford, the shot from 4 yards out from Visser, where it should have been.
Look, I thought
you've got to ride your luck, right?
Yeah. I thought we rode we 100% rode our luck on Sunday, and how we, when we were sat there, I was sat there and going, we've won 2-0, but I don't really know how we've won 2. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit like, how have we won 2-0? We've won a game, but how have we actually won that game? Because if Liverpool have those chances, then they're bound to take one of them at least, if not more.
Yeah. Phil Coys, I'm going to say this again. He's had 67% of Premier League games he's been available for. I don't like. I know you keep saying, Savva, you're debating Savva. I'm debating your opinion. 67% of Premier League games isn't an opinion. Right, that's a fact. I really feel like we need to learn the difference here. Romero's been available. I'll say this again for anyone who doesn't listen. 67% of Premier League games. You can't build your defence around a centre back that is available or missing for 33% of games. You just can't. You just can't. It's madness. I know you love him. I know you refuse to admit that he's not as great as you think, but it is what it is. Guys, look, we defended brilliantly against Brentford. We did. I'll say it again. This is Anfield. This is Anfield. If we think Brentford having 20 shots against Spurs is a lot, at Anfield, I'll put it out there right now. I reckon Liverpool have 30 plus shots in this game. I'm putting it out there right now. I reckon they have 30 plus shots, and I reckon 14 or more of them are on target. There you go. I'm putting it out there right now.
Something like that. That's I think that's how many shots they had against us when they battered us 6-3, wasn't it? They had about 30, 40 shots on goal. And that was at our place. We just got to try and stop the shots. And I don't know how you do that, because usually you'd have your defensive midfielder, but we don't play with one of those.
How Spursy, right? I'm just gonna say, yeah, Wayne, that is a nibble. I don't know what you're saying. I'm being delusional. I'll say something delusional now. How Spursy would it be that we actually get through? Like, how Spursy would that be?
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
I know Savva will be in the mud because obviously he doesn't want the team to do well. So he'll get everyone coming in going, Savva's in the mud.
Idiot. But, what an idiot you are.
You know, that's what's going to happen, right? People are going to come in.
Sure.
Oh, Savva, we told you. Oh, Angie's amazing. He got to a final.
For sure. But, by the way, wow, Mark, is that it in total? He's played 112 out of 182 available, 61%. I just use league. If you're going to add, wow, yeah, but apparently not injury prone, Mark, not injury prone. Jay, big up. I know if you need to jump, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, about to go live. Thank you for having me on.
Much love as always, dude.
Cheers, Jay.
Take care, man. Take care. Take care, everyone, man.
I mean, kudos. If you're going to try and banter me that I'm in the mud, I mean, you've at least got to get an A at the end. At least if you're going to leave out one of the V's, at least get an A on the end so it reads like Savva. Look, I want Spurs to win trophies more than anything. I want to go there Thursday night, and it would be lovely to say, you know what? We're in a cup final. I've also been a Spurs fan long enough to know that this is a huge 90 minutes against a top football team. And this is different to beating them 1-0 at home. This is different to beating an out-of-sorts Man City. This will be a full-strength Liverpool who don't need to worry about the weekenders not being in an arrogant way from them, but they've got Plymouth at the weekend. This is their game. This is their manager's first chance at silverware, right? Arne Slot's not going to rest his players for Tottenham at home in the Cup versus Plymouth in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
He's not going to, right? At the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But this is tough, guys. This is our toughest game of the season. I don't care what anyone says. This, for me, is our toughest game of the season so far.
Yeah.
Is that true, Nick?
I think so. And this is the toughest game we'll have in this competition as well. Because if we do get through this game, whether Arsenal fans will chew me out, but I don't care. Liverpool are the best team in the country. Arsenal are the second best team in the country. As it stands, if we beat the best team in the country, we've got to be very, very confident going into a final, because we're either going to play the second best team in the country, or we're in Newcastle at the moment. They're 7th at the moment. I can't remember where Newcastle are in the Premier League.
Newcastle United are, I want to say 5th. That might be a lie. 6th. Joint with Man City. Yeah,
they're 5th. They're 6th. So we're either playing the second best team in the country or the 6th best team in the country. So this is the game. It's like when we won the Carling Cup in 2008. Beating Arsenal and getting over 9 years of not beating Arsenal in all competitions and finally beating them, and we beat them 5-1 on that night. Big up Steve Malbronk.
Steve.
Big up Steve Malbronk. Love Steve Malbronk.
I liked it.
That game was more difficult for us than the final against Chelsea, because even though Chelsea that year got to a Champions League final, they had Avram Grant as the manager. They had some class footballers. But it was almost like that hoodoo of beating Arsenal was more, because we'd beaten Chelsea recently, and we beat them 2-1 under Martin Jol. We'd beaten Chelsea recently, not away from home, but we hadn't beaten Arsenal for 9 years. And I feel like the same with Liverpool. We've 5 wins in 108 years. You can't argue with it. That is the stat. So if we can get through Liverpool, we should be very confident going into a final.
And if it was Arsenal, right? Let's say it was Arsenal, we would have beaten City, United, Liverpool, and Arsenal to win that trophy. No one could anyone say that we didn't deserve to win that trophy? I don't know.
Of course. At the moment, though, that's a big if. At the moment, I love that. Like there's as always, I'll sit on a fence when discussing these things on my channel. If you do that, you go, what a fantastic cup run. At the moment, you could argue, well, hang on, we've beaten an out-of-form Man City and a really crap Man United.
Look, I get it.
Two ways of looking at it, right?
What I would caveat that with is to say, just because we had a good cup run, and this is what we've been saying, the proof in the pudding is over the Premier League over the whole season, right?
Sure.
In a cup run, you can win 4 games, 5, and bearing in mind this started at Coventry with a Jed Spence winner in the whatever minute it was, right? So it could have been really different.
Johnson got the winner.
Oh, okay, sorry, Johnson. But yeah, Jed Spence started it off, right? So
he also got an own goal in that game, didn't he? But no, he made the mistake that led to the Coventry goal.
But that doesn't mean. Look, we need to see what happens tomorrow. See who gets. First of all, we're going to see who are going to be the potential opponents. Then we need to see what happens on Thursday. Then once we do that, then we can work out who we're going to do and all of that. But having a good cup run doesn't mean that this manager is devoid of any blame for what's happened in anything else, right? Because that's what it will turn into, and I just really worry for that if that's what it's going to turn into, you know.
And we've got to remember as well that 3 days after that we've got another massive cup tie at Aston Villa. So you know this game, I'm pretty sure, doesn't it go to extra time in this round?
Yes.
Am I right in saying it would go to extra time? You know, if let's say Liverpool win by 1 goal and this goes to extra time and penalties, and then suddenly we're travelling back from Liverpool, you got 1 day on the training pitch, and then you're up again for Aston. This is a massive 4 or 5 days for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, because suddenly if that doesn't work, we're now just a team who are sitting 14th in the Premier League, banking everything on a European Cup run. By the way, we haven't beaten anyone of note so far in Europe. Like we would be banking everything. Now the flip side to that, because let's devil's advocate, flip side to that is next Sunday night we could be sitting here going, oh, we're in the final of a cup, we're in the next round of the FA Cup. Yep, we'll still be 14th in the league, and we're in the knockout stages of the Europa League. And this is why all season, guys, since we've seen how bad we are in the league, people going, don't worry about the league, cups. That's great, guys, until the moment you get knocked out. Because the moment you get knocked out, the harsh reality is going to kick in to people as to how shit we've been. So at the moment, the feel-good factor's there this week, right? Beat Liverpool, beat Villa, and it's amazing. Get knocked out to both of them, and it shows how shit the season actually is. Yeah. So this is huge.
Make or break.
This for me is make or break for Ange. I've said it before. If this guy gets knocked out of both cup competitions, you cannot be sitting there in the first week of February out of both domestic cups, 14th in the league. That has to be sacked. That has to be. But maybe it's written in the stars.
Good record against Villa recently, though. We've beaten them on a few occasions, so we should be confident going into that Villa game in the FA Cup. But football ain't played on paper; it's played on grass.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. But that's why it is a massive week, and you've got to add the Villa game in as well, because the Villa game is going to have an effect. Imagine you lose to Liverpool after a long, grueling night of extra time, etc. Yeah. Imagine you lose that, right? Players' heads are down. He's got to get them up. Then there's going to be the whole, is Van der Ven back again? Blah, blah, blah. Is this player fit? We go to Villa Park. And again, devil's advocate, I'm looking at both sides of this. Villa, are they going to be buoyed by their new signings? Do players like Rashford and Asensio go straight in, hit the ground running, give them a lift? Do they take their time? They're a bit sluggish, and we can get the best of them. So this is a massive week. all I know is this: is if he lose both games, for me, there can't be any reason why the manager's not sacked. It can't be for me.
It's just it's make or break for him. This is the time where he shows what he's made of.
Sure.
This is the week he shows what he's made of. That's the thing with football. You're either a genius or you're a see you next Tuesday. That is the reality of football. It's very black or white. If he loses both games, we don't have the excuse we're in 3 cup competitions to see what he does. We'd be in one competition in a grueling Europa League where we're not the greatest side in Europe at the moment. So we got to see what we do.
Absolutely. I'm only going to go for I'm going to end the show at 12:15. By the way, we've got 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Look, it's all very interesting. You know, there's a lot of spice to this. We've waited 4 weeks for this. I think it was 4 weeks ago we beat them. It's a long time in between, and then there's the added spice as well of tomorrow night we'll know who our potential final opponents are. Yeah. You know, the added spice could be we know Arsenal are through. Do you know what I mean? And that adds the pressure again of, hey, do we want to... oh, sorry, Matthew. I'm so sorry to hear that, my man.
Sorry, mate.
I mean, dude, let me give you one bit of advice, dude. Listen, I'm so sorry to hear this, Matthew. If your mum has passed away, please get off of social media and go and be with family and stuff, please. Don't... Much love to the family and all that. I'm sorry to hear it. Don't worry about football, and football don't matter. We'll all be here arguing tomorrow. We'll all be here arguing in 5 years' time. Don't worry about it. We'll all be here calling each other, see you next Tuesdays. But this is about your mum. So please go and deal with that. All right, my man. Listen, just be with your family. I don't care. Whatever. Interviews will always say the same thing from new signings, won't they? I've come here for the project. I believe we can win things. I'm going to give my best. It's exciting. The manager spoke to me, blah, 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 blah. Look, but again, agreed. Somebody in the chat said, if he gets through to a final, he has to stay. Now, yes, for me, yes, because I didn't like it when they did that to Jose. But that doesn't mean we can just continue to plummet down the league table. He's got to sort out that league form. If you can beat Liverpool twice, if you can beat Man City, if you can beat Villa, then there's no reason why we should be 14th in the Premier League table. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, look what happened at United. Ten Hag did what he did in 2 seasons and they sacked him. So it's not about, let's let him get to the final, but let's not sit there after the final, depending on what happens. We need to wait and see what happens. If we win it, should the manager stay? I don't think so, based on what's happened. But who knows with this football club?
By the way, guys, there's 560 of you in the chat. One last push. We're about 40 away, 40 odd away.
44.
Please. 44 away. One last push. Can we get Ben? There's the link. Guys and girls, it's a huge deal for any YouTuber to get to 1K. It's the hardest 1K to do, if that makes sense. When you get to 1K, 2K, it follows. Please, right now, there's the link. You don't have to leave the page. Even if you have to leave the page, go and do it. Here's the link. Please, 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 guys. Let's have a bit of a countdown, shall we? We're 43 away. Guys and girls, come on. Show some bloody love to Spurs content creators that put a lot of hard work. By the way, Premier League money spent this window. City, 176 million. Wolves, 42. Brighton, 40. United, 29. Aston Villa, 26. Ipswich, 24. Man City, not messing about. And I fully expect Man City, guys, in the summer to go and do another 200-300 million. And I would assume that they probably know there's going to be no massive implications coming down the line.
Probably not.
For all that other stuff. But when is Ben live on his channel next? I would say 2 p.m. today.
2 p.m.
2 p.m. 2 p.m. But guys, I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy. We're 39 away. 39 of you. There's 554 of you in the chat. 39 of you. Tell me what I have to do for you to go and do that sub, and I will do it. Come on, guys and girls. And what I'll do is when I get to 17K, I'll give away a shirt on Ben's behalf. There we go. We'll give away a shirt. Well said, Ben. We are not the best team in Europe. It's time Spurs fans realised it's not all about what you...
I mean, it's just common sense. We're not the best team in Europe. It's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That's just Real Madrid.
Savva. It's gross. Oh, Alex with no name, no picture. Let's block you. You're a prick, aren't you? Sorry, blocked. I don't suffer fools on this channel. I'd rather grow organically. Look, last thing before we go. What are we expecting in the league for the rest of this season, guys? We've got 14 games left to play. We're sitting 14th. I'll show you the league table. Present, share screen. There's the Premier League table. Let's go to the bottom because that's where we live these days. We are what, 27 points. So we are 7 points off the top half. I think we're 16 points, if I'm not wrong. I might have made that up. Let me double check. 27. We are 27. 16 points off top 4. We can forget that. We are 13 points off the top 7. We can forget that. It's too big a swing. What's the aim, guys? What's the aim for the end of this season?
Show a bit of passion. Show a bit of passion and try and put some wins together. Try and show that there is still some life left in this project and still life left in what we're going at the moment. But at this moment in time, we just need to start stringing some wins together. Try and string some, even if it's not wins, try and string some games together.
Oh God! Can I just ask though, Chris? Where's this? Like when you're saying "don't worry," I've heard all year "don't worry, don't worry, don't worry." But at what point? Why would I not worry about the league when we're 14th? When you're saying we're going to finish around 8th to 10th, you do realise how many points off 8th we are. We are 10 points away from 8th. Do you truly believe that all the clubs between us and 8th are not going to win points in these last 14 games? I'm baffled. I'm baffled that we've got fans like this that just say this shit. Don't worry, we're going on a run. Based on what? I'll ask you, Ben and Nick. What is this based on? We haven't been on a run all season, but don't worry, we've beaten Brentford 1-0, 2-0. We're going on a run.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit flat with how dumb our fan base is. I'll call it out. I don't care if it offends someone. We've got a dumb fan base. Sorry. I'll say it. I don't care. Don't care. We've got Aston Villa
because we've won 2 games in a row. I think if you look at outside of the league games we've played, we haven't lost, but in the league we've lost. So what do we see? I don't know. I don't see what tells us that. What? Because we've seen it in the past. 1 game a week, things will click. We won't need to worry about it. We're just playing what? I don't know.
Mate,
it might happen, but based on facts, I don't. And the way we've been playing for the last 18 months, I don't see how we suddenly put 7 out of 10 wins or whatever. You know.
Put it this way. So these people saying we're going to finish 8th. Aston Villa are 10 points clear of us in 8th, right? 14 games to go. Let's say Aston Villa. Would you guys say that Aston Villa will win 4 or 5 of their last 14?
Yes.
Right. So let's go conservative, right? Aston Villa win 4 of their last 14. I think they'll win more. If Aston Villa win 4 of their last 14, Tottenham have to win 8. Right? This is where I don't think when people say shit like this, 8th, cool. Based on what? You'll see. No, that's not an answer. I'll see isn't an answer. Chris and people like that, these have been the ones telling me we're only 3 points off top 4. We're only 5 points off top 4. We're only 7 points off top 4. That then quickly, drastically went to we're 16 points off top 4 and in the bottom half, right? And these people just go, you'll see.
And out of the games left, Savva, We got to play Man United. Well, I mean, who knows what's going on. Man United, Man City. We've got Fulham away, Chelsea away.
No, it's done.
We've got Liverpool away. We've got West Ham away. We've got Nottingham Forest at home. That's 7 games that, we've got Villa away as well, and Palace at home and Brighton. So there's probably those games, half of those games we're probably not going to win already. So we've then got to win the other 7 games, and there's no guarantee we're going to win 7 out of those games. So you can't just sit there and say, you can't sit there and say, oh, because it's going to happen. If we suddenly, you've also got to think we've got Europa game in between some of those games. We may have more games in the FA Cup. It's not going to be as simple as we're going to go on a run. Yes, we could go on a run, beat United, beat Ipswich, beat Man City, and then everyone goes, well, there you go, Savva, there's your 3 wins. But similarly, we could go and lose those 3 and not win again for 7 games, Yeah,
but Nick, you're also banking on if we go and win 3 games, we're also then saying that what this means is, let's bring this table up again. What we're saying is that then means that Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, Palace, and Man U lose all those games in between when we're winning 3 games in a row. This is my point.
Yeah.
We're 7 points off the top 10, right? So we're suddenly saying that now Brighton don't win any more games. Again, if Brighton and Fulham and Brentford and Palace, if these clubs win 3 or 4 more games, we need to win 8 or 9 to finish above them. Like it's, we're suddenly saying everyone else is going to be shit. We're going to be brilliant with absolutely no evidence to show that. 1 win in 8 and we're going on a run. This fan base kills me, Nick. It is, why we're so like things can, I just hear this nonsense all year. It doesn't matter how wrong these people are. They're wrong every week. They're wrong. They've been wrong all season and they still come in and go, things can turn around quickly. Can they?
The last time we won 2 games in a row in the league was nearly 2 years ago, like Bella just put. So if we've not put 2 wins in a row in the league in nearly 2 years, what does that? Do you think we're going to win 7 in a row or 3 in a row and then and then another 3 in a row?
By the way, if we finish 10th, I'm not turning around and going 10th is a good season. Even if we win a cup, we should not be halfway down the Premier League table. I'm not having it. Right?
We're not even halfway down the Premier League table, Savva. We're a quarter way up the Premier League table. We're 14th.
Absolutely, mate. I'm just genuinely baffled, right? That no facts and evidence is now destroyed from life. But these are adults. People like Chris and Phil, these are adults. Seeing the evidence going, it will change. Why? Why not? No, but why? Why will it change? Why? Give me the evidence that shows you it will change, right? 1 win against Brentford. Do you know what, guys? We are going to end the show now, but do you know what? Ben, this is why, yeah? No, I'm not having a cup and 10th. I'm not having a cup and... Sorry, Chris, we're Tottenham. You're talking like we're Fulham. We're Tottenham Hotspur. Why would I ever be happy with 10th in the league? What are we doing? I know you've only just started supporting Spurs, but what? Sorry, Ben, Nick, am I being dumb here that I wouldn't be happy with 10th place in a Premier League?
Going from multiple 5th place finishes and 4th places dotted around Manchester and then suddenly being 10th. That's a massive regression. There's a massive regression in the league.
Yeah, based on now though, you're taking it all day long.
Based on now.
I'm not. I'm not.
Based on the season that we've had.
Based on the season that we've had, he should be sacked if we're going to do that game. Yeah. Based on the season that we've had, the man shouldn't be at the football club, Nick.
Yeah. But if from where we are now to finishing, I'd take a cup and finish where we finish and he gets sacked. That's what I'd take.
Oh, mate, if we win the cup, finish 10th and he's sacked, I'm all for it. Because
at the end of the season, we've got to reevaluate. If he wins the cup, we'd say clearly it's not worked. Maybe we need to move in a different direction. thank you for your time, but maybe we need to rethink things as a football club.
I just love how low our standards have dropped. Our standards are so low. They are so low now. So low. Like, if people are going to me, we're 14th, we're going to finish 10th. Yeah, that's better than where we are now. But that doesn't make it acceptable. It should never have got to this.
No.
Right? It should never have got to this. We won one league game in 11 against Southampton, and now fans are going, oh, well, if we finish 10th with a cup. Cups should not mean you finish halfway down a table. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, when these teams win cups, they don't finish 10th, 14th. They finish 3rd, 2nd, 4th. They win cups. Listen, I don't know what has happened.
The cup should be the springboard onto something greater. That's what matters. Big teams always win the cup. That gives them the confidence of getting over the line, and then they spring on for the rest of the season. If we're using a springboard to go from 14th to 10th, that's a wasted cup win in a way. It's a wasted springboard. Better teams have gone to finals and not won.
We put one defensive performance in, Ben. We put one backs to the wall, really good defensive performance, and suddenly we're back. We're going up that table. It's absolutely mad. Yeah, look, I'm not buying it. A cup can galvanise it. Do you know what I heard last season? And we are ending the show. I know you've got to go, Nick. Do you know what I heard last season? What? When I was saying for the second half of the season, look how shit this is. All I was told by all these same Ange fans was, give it the first half of next season, see how it goes. The first half of that season's happened, and it's been absolutely diabolical. And still we're going, well, if he wins a cup, he should stay. Cool. All right. So how long do we give him next season? What if next season, after the first 10 games, it was like the first 10 games of this season? It's just mad. We've got fake fans. We've got idiots. I call it. I don't care. I call it. I've got idiots like Ian. Ian, by the way, the reason I call you an idiot, you haven't been here all the while. We didn't win in 7 league games. We didn't win 1 in 7, guys. This guy's not been in my chat. We beat Brentford. He's here. Cam's here. The cult of Angepostecoglou are here. I
don't like the. We need a new fan. No, this as one of the things a lot of people are saying.
This drives me mad.
With a lot of people calling us a fair weather fan base. I'm 29 years of age, which it will probably tell you there's never been fair weather in my life supporting Tottenham. There's never been fair weather. Born in a hurricane is what that's a t-shirt. Born in a hurricane, that's a t-shirt. There's never been fair weather. I don't understand changing the fan base. The majority of our fan base have seen multiple European Cups, like 2 UEFA Cups, the highest winners of the FA Cup, League Cups in '99. Tottenham won 2 trophies a decade up until Daniel Levy turned up. This is why one of the reasons I'm Levy out. Tottenham do win things. We are the 6th most winning club in the country, and we should be winning stuff. But still, that we should be not 10th, especially with the prices of our season tickets, with the price of the stadium. We shouldn't be 10th.
But Ben, these same people we're going to end the show right now, but those same people were all the ones saying we'd finish 3rd and 4th and Ange was a genius. They're now saying 10th and a cup is a good season. Make your effing minds up. We're going to end the show. Cam, not true. If you were banned and you couldn't come in for all those games, no one's I'm the only one that can unban you.
I mean, someone timed him out.
Yeah, but for 7 games,
it's not different from a ban.
He's not been in here for 7 games when we didn't win. Fans like me, Cam, we're here, win, lose or draw. Yeah, but for me, I'm just even like Phil, the biggest. I love Phil, but the biggest flip flop ever. Biggest. Honestly, the man's football opinion has no weight. He changes it every week. He changes his opinion. I'll show this. Ian, if you're a fan that's seen Dave Mackay, then how on earth are you rating Angepostecoglou? Like how? If you've seen the top managers at Tottenham throughout those eras, how on earth are you watching Ange? Anyway, guys, girls, had a super chat from Tony and AC who said 4 goals in 16 months. I think he was talking about Tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. Tell.
Yeah.
Big up Tony.
One goal in 15 games for Bayern München this year.
Yeah. But we've got Lionel Messi. Tony, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you. He's always been a very big supporter of my channel. Yeah, but listen, Phil, it's got to the point though where you're starting to troll, and it's just got a bit silly.
You love Phil. You see Phil at a football game, and he gives you a big.
I love Phil, but for me, I like people that have solid opinions. I don't like people that change it from we beat Brentford with it. This we lost with. I don't do it for me. Barry, thank you for coming on. Nick, thank you. Barry, Ben, thank you for coming on. Yeah, Barry and Nick.
Thanks for having me, Savva. Cheers for the help.
No worries. Listen, please, as you go out, please smash that button, people. Please subscribe to Ben. He is now only, come on, we are 36 away from the 1K. There it is. Take care. Love you all. Even Phil. Love you. See you later. I'm back at 6 p.m. tonight for the collective. See you then. Take care. And as always, Ange out. Levy out. Enoch out. But come on, you Spurs.